All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom. I'm a full-time eBay reseller, and I'm a stay-at-home dad for my 6 children. And I'm able to get some stuff done that I'm not normally able to get done because we just had Miss Ruby 2 weeks ago today, and it's Friday. Yeah, and my wife is on maternity leave until the first of the year, so I'm hoping that I can really make a good push for Q4. My hair's looking a little crazy today, but that's what happens when you work from home. You don't have to look good unless you're going to be on camera every single day and not. So we got that, that cleared out is the wrong term, but we got stuff moved away. This is not, the white box at the bottom isn't part of the deal, but it's just in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down there. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, essentially 12 boxes of books. And these are, I think they're 12 by 8 by 10 boxes that I got at Walmart specifically for storing these books. But then there's also this, something collapsed. And so there's a huge mess. But like all of these boxes have already been gone through and are definitely for donating. So I think I'm ready to put some shelves on the back side of this and start putting things up there that are listed. And then this section being out, these boxes being out of the middle of the death pile, and knowing how many there are there is hugely motivating. But I had to take an hour and do it. And anybody who knows my channel and my life, anything that doesn't directly make money or keep someone from bleeding, it's a little hard to find that kind of margin. But that's supper time. Okay, so it's the next morning, and I decided to bring the one in that I like. Let's just open this random one, and a couple of things were worth something. So here's where we're at with that. I divided these out into randomness. Like, these are all Ian Fleming, James Bond books. This is all Ellery Queen. This is all Mary Reinhardt. And then just some random stuff that kind of goes together. And these were the like check and see if they're worth anything books, because they just kind of have that feel. The Man Who Sold Death, Green Hornet, the first book in a series that became The Executioner, and I don't know if that's worth anything or not, but those series books. But this one, The Mansion of Evil, I'll put up the sold comps. There are none listed. There are none sold in the last 90 days. And Terapeak has this book at right around 200 bucks. So I listed mine for 169. It's in bad shape. It's like got something on the cover and a break in the binding, and like the plastic's lifting up, and it's got a bunch of dog-eared pages, and it's just generally not in good condition, but it's rare and desirable. So I listed mine for $169 to see what happens. And because I know the history of this book, that it was stored literally in a trash bag outside, I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to put it in the freezer in case there's some mildew that I can kill off that way. Anyhow, 25 sales. It's over the last 2 days because I didn't do anything. I didn't do any sales stuff yesterday. I listed some books and stuff, and some of those have already sold, but 25 for $702. Let's jump into, there's a couple that I either are still inside and they sold since I got out here, or I couldn't find in my first push and they don't have to ship until tomorrow. So I'm going to just put pictures of those up. This book I listed yesterday sold for $15.99. These books, guys, I have nothing into. I bought the contents of a hoarder house, and you'll see it on, I guess you guys were looking at those books in the last video and probably the beginning of this video. And so these are just books that I paid $125 18 months ago, have made thousands of dollars. It's not worth counting the cost of goods on these. So that's all profit essentially. And normally I would pick this up for like 50 cents if I found it at a garage sale or a thrift store. These were free. So like, before you get on me about selling stuff out of a food pantry, that's not the situation. These were sitting on an information desk at my daughter's preschool, and it was, somebody had them and just got rid of their machine. Free Pepsi Soda Stream. So it wasn't like it was a food pantry item that I took for free and got and then sold it. These are Soda Stream Pepsi bottles, and it's 5 of them, not quite a full case. They don't expire, and when you're messing with food stuff, make sure it's not getting ready to expire. These don't expire until August of 24. And I sold them below market because I like listing stuff that will sell same day, next day. I listed them below the market. I got them for nothing, and they sold for $26 free shipping. And it won't cost me all that much to ship, probably $7, $8 at the most. I got them for nothing. So let's get them to somebody else for a bargain, and they can make money and we can make money, or they can make soda and we can make money, whatever. This was a vintage Nike tracksuit. I do not know where it came from. It was in the death pile. Nike, nice Nike swoosh on it. It had a pair of pants, but they were torn when I pulled them out of the death pile, and I think probably something happened to them. Every once in a while I get a squirrel in the garage, and I think maybe something happened to them while they were in the death pile. But the jacket the jacket did just fine, and I washed it, and it's sold for $25 plus shipping, and this was probably only listed 2 or 3 days. So I've been trying this thing where yesterday, I did it just yesterday, and I'm seeing some increase, and I don't love it, but I'm going to try it for a week and then go back for a week and decide what I think. But if you're familiar with eBay charges, it's a varying percentage, but let's say 10% as a base rate if you don't promote anything. And then when something sells and you have a promoted listing, I've been doing 2.5% promoted listing for probably 2 months or so. I was doing 4% for a long time, and it was working well enough. And I was like, well, let's see what 2.5% does. And it wasn't a quick, oh my goodness, my store shut off. But every day feels like a good day is now $225 in sales, where a good day used to be $300 in sales. And I think I've just kind of gotten used to getting lower sales over that 1.5%. And so I was like, well, let's bump it back up to 4%. And then just listening to the gurus all over the internet and thinking about it myself, I was like, let's try, for the sake of the channel and the sake of experimentation, doing the adjusted ad rate that eBay has available. And so I set my store to eBay sets the ad rate, the recommended ad rate, which can fluctuate greatly up to 25%. But I told them to put a cap on it at 11%. If I have to give them 35% in order to sell the item, I think that's too much of the profit. I don't know that I have enough margin in every single item in my store to make it profitable. I mean, if you're buying things for $1 and you sell them for $100, and the only way you can do that is to promote things at 25% on eBay, and you're pocketing a huge chunk, good for you. I think that paying eBay to help you make money is worth it. And so there is a pay to play, and people get all aggravated about promoted listings. But eBay is providing me a service where I'm able to put food on the table for my family. And if I need to pay more for that service in order to continue, it's unfortunate, but it's the way it works. And I'm willing to play along in order to continue to make the amount of money that I've been making. So I put in varying ad rates up to not to exceed 11% on top. And my sales have been good for the last day or day and a half. Let's see. Yesterday, after I changed to the ad to 11%, I sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm normally selling 6 items in a 24-hour period. 6, 7. So that is more. So if I was selling 7, 1 would be more than the 10% that my ad rate is going up. So I think it's going to work, but we're going to give it a week next Thursday. And then I'm going to go back down for a week, and I'm going to stick to that just to see how the thing is working out. Anyway, and I know that anybody who looks at anything for 30 days is subject to pay the ad rate. And so that isn't the best experiment, but it is the way I'm running it. So it is what it is. But I'm getting sales, and I like getting sales. Hat. I paid $1 for this a long time ago. Safety Clean. I think this might even just be this is Detroit region. So that's not a local company. They're not like some popular company that people collect for necessarily. But I've had that forever. I paid $1 for it at an estate sale. It sold for $7 plus shipping. Not a great sale, but I bought like 200 hats at that sale, listed them all individually, and some of them got a lot of money and some of them didn't get a lot of money. A Ricochet RC car. This has a remote, but it no longer has the decal, and it has a replacement battery and a replacement charger for the battery. So that's not great for it. It's not like high-end collector-y, and it looks really good on this side, and it looks really, really bad on this side. But I paid $5 for it at the everything you could possibly imagine retro truckload. I should probably call it the retro truckload sale. And it sold to a zero feedback buyer for $49 plus shipping. And I think that zero feedback buyers, I see that as a good sign. A zero feedback buyer is somebody who is new to the platform, and I was able to sell an item that they were looking for, even though they didn't have an eBay account, and probably due to a promoted listing because they were Google searching and found my listing on eBay. That's all speculation, but it doesn't really matter. I think a lot of people fear zero feedback buyers because what if it's somebody who got kicked off for scamming and then they showed back up under a new name and now they're going to scam me with their first purchase? I get so little scams that I don't have time to worry about it until it's happening. And then I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. But zero feedback buyers, I like them. It's new people on the platform and new people, fresh meat to spend money in my store. This I paid $3 for at a yard sale. This thing, I just saw, I never heard of this backpack, but when we were in Disney World over the summer, I saw a lot of people carrying these, and I was like, oh, those must be expensive and trendy if people are carrying them in Disney World. So I kind of put that away in my brain, and then when I saw one for $3, I'm like, let's comp it, and I did. This is one I couldn't find also Disney World. I paid $20 for it on Whatnot, assuming it would be worth a fortune, and it was not. It ended up selling for $30. This is not... I must have got 3 pieces from that guy. Yeah, because I got the women's piece, the men's piece, and the Epcot vest. And so I paid $20 a piece for them. I made my money when I sold the Epcot vest. And then these two shirts that were more generic, I wasn't able to make as much money as I thought I would be on them. But when you're buying on Whatnot, it's not like you can comp stuff during a 20-second auction. So I took my chance at $20. They sold for 30. Two of them sold for 30, which isn't losing money. And then one of them sold for 89 or something. So I made money. I didn't make a fortune. That wasn't a good pickup, but I was buying them on Whatnot. This was retail arbitrage. I paid $3.99 at TJ Maxx for these postseason 2016 Chicago Cubs. And then we'll just tear that off, which is, I bought like 8 of them that day. And that tag from TJ Maxx was not in the picture. And that sold for, 2 of them sold for $14. Buyers all in at 21, and I'm in them for 8. I need to go grab the other one. I didn't realize that was a quantity sale. This book was one that I listed yesterday. The Green Hornet. It's in really nice condition. Like you can see, there's a little bit of an issue, but I think it's even probably on the beginning of this video that I had this. I put it up for $19 and it sold immediately. And I got this comment, then somebody said, I don't understand why it's a good thing to sell something in minutes. And 2 things. The first thing was the thing where I was like, and it sold in minutes. I wasn't saying it's inherently a good thing for something to sell in minutes. What I was saying was none had sold in 90 days, and then mine sold right away, which means there are people looking for the thing, but everybody was overpriced. And so nobody was buying them. And as soon as one came on the market that was reasonably priced, even underpriced, it sold right away. But also, it isn't for everybody. And I know I'm not running my store the way, I'm not maximizing profit on my store. But when I put money out on something, I want to get that money back as quick as I can. And if the margin, having a lower margin, like if you're investing, this is an investment of time and money. And if you're investing money in the stock market and you can get a 25% return the same day, like that's unheard of. And so I feel like people who like, well, I bought this for $2 and it should be worth $200. So I'm going to hold off for 6 months to get $200 and call anybody who offers me $160 a lowballer and say that they're scum and I need to get my $200. Like, that mentality is more about valuing the items than valuing the investment money. And so to me, I'm investing money and hoping to get a really, what would be a really good return on any other investment, because I have some knowledge about value, because I have the time to put into it, because I have a system, kind of. My system kind of sucks. And so looking at it and saying, well, this should be worth $25. So I'm going to hold out until I get $25. But if it was a stock and you buy it at $4 and the stock shoots up to 12 and you cash out, and then the stock keeps going up, you still made money, and maybe you could have made more money. But the point is not the thing itself. The point is the return. And so I don't look at these things as this has a peak value and I need to achieve that peak value. I look at it as, if I list it somewhere between where I bought it and what the peak value is, I can get money, I can make money along the way somewhere, and the closer to the bottom, the faster I'll get my return back. And that's what I try to do. So I think that isn't for everybody. It isn't the best method, probably. I could maximize my profits by pricing everything towards the higher end of fair market, towards even middle of fair market. But what I try to do is come right up against the end, and I turn things over quickly, and I sell a lot of product. I'm not a volume seller. I'm not selling 80 items a day and have to have 2 employees, but I'm doing the best I can to get a bunch of the money, but never all the money. And if I flip something for 100% return, like I paid the deal on those coffee mugs, I paid $1 for 4 coffee mugs. I listed them for $12, and after I paid shipping, and fees, I ended up with $4 in my pocket. So they sold in minutes, and I got a 400% return on my investment. Now it's only $4, but if you were able to do that with $100 and you get 400% return, and like, I just think that as eBay sellers, we tend to think of our items as the value of this cool, rare thing. And I do like cool, rare things. I'm a cool, rare thing guy. But when I put something into the store, then it becomes a monetary transactional thing where if I can get a decent return back out of it, then I will sell it for what the other person is willing to pay. And so if I price something and it sells right away, then I feel like I have done my job well. I could have made more money, but my goal is never to, you should be trying to get the most you can get out of something, but my goal is never to get the top of the market value. My goal is to return a reasonable investment back quickly. And so if something turns really fast and I make money I'm comfortable with, then I feel like I've done my job well. And I don't think a lot of people think that way, but I'm just trying to get money coming back in as fast as possible. I have 6 children to feed, and I don't have time to wait for the other $3, the other 10% margin. I'm putting it out there to get it to, I want it to be a bouncy ball tennis ball against the wall. Bah! And it comes right back bigger than it was. So that, I think, that is a fair criticism to say, why would you want something to sell right away? That means the first person who saw it bought it, and and it was so cheap that they couldn't resist buying it. And so somebody who comes along later would spend more money and you would get more money. And that is totally valid and probably the better way to do it. But I'm a little too impatient, and not fearful is the wrong word, but like that, I have racks and racks of items that buyer who wanted to pay more money never came for. I have boxes full of inventory that are things that didn't sell the same day, that didn't sell in a month. Some of this stuff hasn't sold in 2 years. And so, you're not getting you're not selling an item, you're not listing an item that doesn't sell for 2 years when it sells the same day. And so listing an item and having it sit for 2 years, I think is objectively failure. Like nobody's like, I'm going to buy this hat right here and I'm going to pay 50 cents for it, and somebody's going to give me $7 2 years from now. That nobody would buy that if they knew that was the outcome. Assumably, maybe somebody would. That is to real estate, $100,000 into $700,000 in 2 years buying a house. That would be a win. So the percentages are a win, but this obviously that's a silly comparison because this is a much smaller game, and so you need to make larger margins. But the point is, I don't remember. I like to return things quickly for the small end of the market. I like to return things quickly. So and take, like Chris Lynn, who has been in a lot of hot water lately, says, I heard him say in a podcast once, and I was like, that is smart. We need to be selling things to take some of the money. If we're trying to get all the money on all the things, we're going to end up with a lot of stuff. And I have a lot of stuff that isn't selling. And I don't like that. Oh, that's what I was saying about the hat. If you knew that this was going to sit for 2 years and you're only going to make $5 at the end of the line, you're not picking that up. And that isn't the issue. That isn't the issue with something that you list at a profit you're happy with and it sells in minutes, then you have won that item because you made money, you set the price, and you got the money back quickly. So I don't feel, it's just my business model is the short answer to try to return things quickly. But the long answer is the last 15 minutes you guys just listened to. All right, thanks for listening to all of that. Let's get back to what sold. These baby bottles, I didn't mark them. They've only been listed like a week and a half. Well, that's not true because I bought them before Ruby was born and I listed them right away. So it's probably 3-4 weeks. They sold for, I paid $248. They sold for $17.91. I bought a coffee grinder. It did not work. The catch bucket sold, I paid $3.50 for it, I think. The catch bucket sold for $18, free shipping right away. This hopper is what it's called, sold for $17.60 free shipping in a couple of weeks, and it and the rest of it got recycled because it was mostly metal. Nike, just do it. Paid 50 cents a piece for a whole bunch of clothes. We stopped at a track meet in Bloomington. Judah had a track meet in Bloomington. We stopped at a yard sale as we were headed home, and everybody's like, seriously, Dad? And I'm like, let me just go look for 5 minutes. And I spent like $25. I got like 10, 15 pieces of clothes and a Sorel boots. Winter boots that should bring me some good money. This is a UFC Young Guns VHS tape. I haven't found it yet because it says it's in one place. It isn't there. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. $12.99 plus shipping. We picked up those drills the other day and the battery didn't work. You say, well, if the battery didn't work, how do you know that the drill works? I've owned a lot of drills, and there's nothing to lead me to believe that this drill wouldn't work. And if you had this drill set and the battery was dead, you just, generally speaking, you probably just go buy another drill set and donate this one. That's probably how this got donated. And if it shows up not working, I will just take care of the customer, but there's no reason to believe this doesn't work. Porter cable is a high quality thing. This is a very high quality tool in good condition. And I know that the battery didn't work. So I'm taking a chance on that. But I believe that it will work. And if it doesn't, I will stand behind it. UFOs. This is the symbol for UFOs. And that's how they spell it, UFOs. Except that's upside down, isn't it? These are really expensive sandals. I paid $3 for them, but look how worn out the soles are. They are almost in leave them behind worn out condition. But at that cheap and the quality and the sell-through of UFOs, I thought I'd pick them up. And they did eventually sell for $20 plus shipping. The Sony Handycam is over there. It did work. There were sold comps around 125. I put it for 100 free shipping. It sold in a day and a half, which I've already explained, I think is a win. I think I beat that horse to death. And then I beat its dead body for a while, I guess. $100 free shipping. Levi picked that up at a garage sale for $15. I let it sit in the death pile for 6 months and then it sold in a day. We should have listed it right away. And then I could have really returned that money quickly. So then you realize, like, if that's the way I think about buying, selling, and return on investment, the death pile drives me absolutely crazy because that is all stuff that doesn't even have a chance of returning yet. So I have to get rid of the death pile. It's absolutely driving me crazy. I'm at the point where I'm about ready to pick out the top 25 items and donate all the rest of it because it's just choking me out at this point. Flannel, Woolrich flannel, twin size sheets, vintage, not super vintage, 2004, so technically not yet vintage. They are new in the package. I paid $1 for them at the Everything's a Dollar sale. They sold for $17.99 free plus shipping, so buyers all in at $33. These are pizzas for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pizza thrower, and you can imagine if you have that toy or you find that toy, these are the parts that get lost. And so Levi did a really good job going through all of that turtle stuff and identifying a bunch of it. And so we did price that stuff higher because he spent so much time working on it. There they are. And I wanted him to get the win, you know, like he wants things to sell super high so that he can be like, yay, victory. I take small victories faster, but he really worked hard on this stuff. And so we priced it fairly consistent with the market, and it is selling, you know, as it goes. The highest end stuff sold first because it's the more sought after, more iconic stuff. I bought this. It was in our kitchen forever. I think I paid $2 for it at Goodwill. My wife used it forever, but now she has other coffee mugs and has moved on from this one. It sold for $15.99 free shipping. These books that I do have stacked right here somewhere, I don't know where I sat them down, but they are, it's the Twilight series, the first 4. There is a 5th one technically that is called, I don't remember now, Moonshine or something. No, that's definitely wrong. Anyway, it's from Edward's perspective, and so it's the same story. It's just the point of view of a different character. And so that one would complete it, make it much more complete, I guess. But I paid $1 a piece for those at Goodwill because they're hardback books. They sold for $18 plus shipping. It's a pretty good return. The charger that let me know that battery didn't work, and then, hey, the battery didn't work. So I'm assuming that it's working properly because the battery didn't work, and it told me the battery didn't work. Sold for $16.99 plus shipping. No, free shipping. And those, I paid $20 for the 2 drills, the bag, some drill bits. So 32 and 16. Both free shipping. That probably puts us right at profit, and the rest of it will be that probably puts us pretty darn close to break even, and we'll start making money when the other couple of things sell. Nirvana t-shirt.
One eternity later.
The Nirvana t-shirt was sitting right here the whole time. So it sold for $9.99 plus shipping. It's a newer one. If you're unaware, I can't help you with this on this shirt, but screen printed tags like that are a reasonably new thing. Probably 2006 is the very earliest. Most of these Nirvana shirts are going to have a date down here, 2017. Some of them will be double stitched and still say like 1999. There was a reprint that said 99, even though it was like 2008 or something. And so not everyone that says it's super vintage is super vintage, and real collectors will know the difference. But if you find this shirt in a single stitch, that is a real serious heater. But this shirt gets reprinted every 2 or 3 years, so it isn't a very desirable shirt. But I picked it up. I picked that one up for Goodwill on a day where I was getting the stuff for half price, so I paid $2.50 for it. It sold for $10 plus shipping. This was part of the retro truckload sale. and it is a wind-up Lionel train in the box, tin toy train, but it's not vintage. You would think it would do better, but I guess it's damaged, it's dented. It does work. Cool toy, not valuable even in really good condition. So it sold for $16.99, free shipping. These I know where I left them, and I came out here and I was like, oh crap, I forgot to pull those. But they are iPods. Now iPods can do really, really well. The right ones. And this one, these are both Nanos. They're Gen 5 and 6. But they still have music on them, and so I listed them both and put like they still have libraries on them in the description, and they got taken down as a copyright claim essentially, because you're not allowed to sell the contents of them. Like, I didn't say this has 75 songs and here's the list of songs. I just said it still has content, but that technically goes against the terms of service. So then I was like, well, I'm going to lot them together and just get rid of them. I paid $1 for one and we got the other one for free. And so I listed them, got them moved quickly. And for $22 free shipping, international shipping. So even if the buyer gets them, and doesn't like them, I don't have to deal with the return. I prefer to sell things international because the risk is lower. Technically, I mean, I'm not going to intentionally sell anything not as described. I'm not going to give an international buyer a less positive experience than I would a domestic buyer. But eBay has set the system up so that if a problem is your fault, so it seems, like if a top buyer needs to return an item for any reason, eBay takes the item back, gives the buyer their money back, and liquidates the item. And they keep the item and they liquidate it. So once you send it to eBay, you are off the hook. Now, I don't know if there's a system where eBay checks the item, because like on that merit, I could send somebody 2 rocks in a box and they get it and they're like, hey, this isn't right. And eBay would eat the difference. I would not recommend doing that. I'm not saying that's a good idea, but that's my understanding is that that on any circumstance where there's a problem, eBay eats the difference. And I think that's good on their part, but it's risky on their part because sometimes people suck. The Beatles. These picture sleeves for 45s are worth more than the vinyl themselves. So this vinyl's in pretty good shape. And this one's Act Naturally, an old Buck Owens song that Ringo covered. Act Naturally, and Yesterday, which is an iconic Beatles song. And this one is Rain on the A side and Paperback Writer on the B side, which is funny because Paperback Writer is it's a better song and it's a more well-known song in the pantheon of Beatles fans. I paid $5 a piece for them and they sold for $19 plus shipping. Not a great return, but I wanted to have them. These are the kind of things where you buy it knowing you're not going to make a fortune, but they're awesome to have in your store for a while. They're awesome to have sitting on a shelf somewhere until they sell. And then we sold a blanket just now while I'm yammering at you. This Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles blanket sold for $35.20, and the buyer paid $10 shipping. So I'm not gonna, it's in HE4 right there, but I'm not gonna go get it because I can't, it's a twin comforter. And it wasn't in super good condition, but it was in good enough that I felt like I could sell it after I watched it a couple of times. Sold for $45 buyers all in, and it's going to cost me $8 to ship. So there you have it. My numbers changed because before it was 700 something, close to 700 even. Okay, so now it's 26 items for $750. All right, so you guys saw a lot. I talked forever. Thanks for watching the whole thing. If you made it this far, you're amazing. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Thanks for liking, watching, commenting, subscribing, following, clicking the bell, all the things that you do. We'll see you on the next one. Pow.